Welcome to the Nevermind Adventure podcast, everyone. We've got a very special guest all the way from Indonesia today, Pablo. He's a super interesting guy, super nice guy. We met probably 3 weeks ago now, I think. I was fortunate enough to be invited on a motorcycle tour that Pablo is setting up in Indonesia. The story goes, Pablo is the owner of Bali to Komodo motorcycle adventures, and he's been working very hard over the past few years, I'm guessing. You've put a fair bit of work into building this up. You've bought a bunch of really cool motorcycles. You've done your homework, you've done a lot of research, you've put the feelers out to a bunch of tour operators all around the world, pulled us all together to showcase what you're doing over there, and with the hope with working with us in the future. I was personally super impressed, and I'm super keen to get something going for all my Nevermind people to come over there and ride with you guys and share the same experience. So that's how we met. It was an amazing ride. We'll talk about that a bit more later. But Pablo, if you could just talk about yourself a bit, tell us how you wound up living in Bali with 200 plus motorcycles and starting a travel company.
Sure. Thank you so much, Matt, for the opportunity. It's a real pleasure for me to be here with you. And so glad that I could have you and enjoy you here during the last couple of weeks. It has been really an amazing experience to ride Indonesia with you. What are we doing here? We are Spanish, European, and unfortunately for us, Europe is getting very old and rushed. I think it's not a continent of opportunities for young and enthusiastic people like us. Everything is done. Economy is really slowly. And we really think that the right place to be is in Asia, especially Southeast Asia. We love it. We have been traveling here many times for holidays, and we knew that one day we would be living here, enjoying this amazing weather, amazing food, amazing beaches every day. And during the COVID, we had more time to think about everything. My plan actually was to retire in Bali, about 55 years old. But finally I came to Bali with 37. And it was not possible to be retired at 37 yet. So we decided how can we do in Indonesia that we will enjoy, we will love, we have fun, and at the same time we are making money. So that's why we decided to start doing the motorcycle business. As you very well know, Bali and Indonesia is not a country for car. It's a totally fragmented country, 18,000 islands, and the roads are not designed for cars. It's a total headache. Motorcycle is the best way. And I start traveling with my family. As you know, I have 2 children, and I enjoy a lot because in Europe it's totally forbidden. You cannot ride your motorcycle with your kids. But here, the whole family, 4, 5, 6, 7, as much as you can bring with you, it's totally fine. And I start traveling myself through all the island of in this region. It's called Lesser Sunda Islands. And I start traveling Bali for sure, where I am based. Then I start discovering East Java, and then Lombok, Sumbawa, Flores, Sumba, and I realized it was one of the most amazing places I have been in my life. And I decided I don't want to be selfish. I don't want to keep it for myself. I need to start sharing this with a lot of people. So we decided to start arranging motorcycle tours in Indonesia. And that's why we found you on the internet. We were looking for the best partner ever in Australia. And we easily found Nevermind Adventures. We gave you a phone call, Matt. This is what we are doing. I would like to invite you to come here and check by yourself. So we are not lying. This is real. And you came here, and I think you have a very fresh idea. You can give us your feedback about the experience. How was it? Did you like it?
Yeah, you look, I had a fantastic time. For me. The fact that it was very raw and you guys are still setting up, and we got to have input into give you feedback along the way. We all, it was a bit rough at times and a few longer days than I think a few of the guys were used to, but that's fine. We all start somewhere, and I think the way you did it was smart. You pulled a group of experienced campaigners together to head out there and check it out and give you feedback, so that when you do open it up to the public, it's a much cleaner, much more refined experience. So all those little bugs are ironed out. So no, look, I loved every minute of it. It didn't quite. We didn't quite line up the way Pablo said there. But he tells a good story. but it was more by chance that we stumbled across each other, and I think there's a bit of synchronicity and all that. The stars lined up and went, never mind, it's time to go to Indonesia, and this bloke needs a bit of help, so you guys need to get together and work it out, and which we're doing. So, probably the highlight for me was travelling with yourself and all the European guys, and Arturo from Mexico. I'm not often travelling with even though I'm in foreign countries, we're usually with Australians. So, and I was the only native English speaker, so everybody spoke Spanish except for me. I did pick up a little bit along the way. You guys were more than helpful in teaching me, especially David. He taught me a lot of good Spanish words.
I know.
And he's a good friend of yours. So, I mentioned this on a previous podcast. It really expanded my horizons with the Spanish-speaking world, that, as an English speaker and only speaking fluent English and maybe some Hindi, but we are missing out on a lot because there's so many people out there like yourselves that we could be communicating with. So that was a great experience. Good people too, great to hang out with other tour operators. So, and the riding was incredible. So, I mean, for me, Flores was just the best. I loved it. But we'll come to that in a tick. I just want to keep talking about you, Pablo, because I find you fascinating. You speak 6 or 7 languages. Is that correct?
Yes, I am 8. I
8.
consider Bahasa Indonesia, which I am still pushing hard. It will be 8. It's the best tool for traveling.
Yeah. I mean, I travel a lot, but I don't. And I think we get lazy as English-speaking people because so many people speak English as a second language. We just, even in India, you learn Hindi, but, you can get by so easily with English. But that's an incredible achievement in itself to make the effort. You've got 2 young children and, you're setting up business overseas, and somehow you've managed to learn that many languages. So that speaks volumes. So, and I was flicking through your profile on some of the paperwork, and you've travelled to like 140 countries as well. Is that right?
Yes.
You're an animal.
I am a travelaholic. Actually, being honest, I travel a lot because of business, because I was doing commodity trading during the last 15 years. And I visit more than 100 countries trying to buy and sell these commodities. But for sure, after, when you travel for business, you cannot enjoy as much. So every holidays, always, I took my family. My kids were traveling with me since they have 3 months. We have been in several countries. They really love it. My kids, when they were smaller, they said, Daddy, it's forbidden to sleep at home on the weekends. They give for granted every weekend we were going somewhere in adventure. Also in Spain, I had campervan, motorhome, whatever. We explored a lot North Africa, Europe. We were always on the way. That's why we decided to come to Indonesia because let's say 2,000 to 3,000 kilometers around my hometown in South Spain, we already knew everything. And now we are so excited because we have 18,000 islands to discover. This is endless. You cannot do it all in one life.
What I'm like you. I've always travelled a lot since I was 14 or 15 years old. I left for an overseas trip the first time. But coming from Australia, that's not uncommon. We have to travel. We have no neighbours really. So why do you think you're inspired to travel so much? Like what happened to you as a child that makes you want to travel so much? Like it's can you think of anything that inspired you, movies or books?
I am from a village. At the end, I am from a village that 30,000 people, and I wanted to explore the world. I remember when I was a child and I saw this in the school. We study history about Christopher Columbus, about Vasco da Gama, about these great explorers, especially in the 15th century in Spain that we discovered America. The Spanish was told the empire where the sun never set. Let's say from Philippines to America, we have different territories. They said 24 hours we had the sun in the Spanish territory. And I enjoy a lot studying about this explorer, and I really wanted to be like them. I wanted to be the Christopher Columbus of the 21st century. But unfortunately, there are no land to be discovered anymore. After satellite, Google Maps, everything. And I am trying to be a modern explorer. And I am trying to find the best spots for our friends, for our clients. Because here in Indonesia, there are really still very nice places that are unspoiled. You cannot find any information. You cannot even find it on Google Maps. I thought this didn't exist because in Europe, everything is mapped, 100% everything. But here, there are still many, many wild places. And here I can feel like an explorer, much more than Europe. I am turning my dreams into reality.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think I was drinking some beer with David, and he was telling me about your cycling adventure around Europe with your kids.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What happened there?
Three of them. But the most craziest one, I took my kids in a bicycle trailer on the back from South Spain to Amsterdam, 3,000 kilometers. And my wife in another bicycle. Imagine, it was a crazy 30 days trip, 100 average daily, carrying a couple of children plus a lot of luggage. It was a real challenge, but it was the best trip of our lives. We crossed 7 countries, and especially for the kids, imagine the adventure, being seated back there in a bicycle, enjoying Europe, stopping every day to have lunch, dinner with their family, setting up our tent beside to the river at night, having the barbecue. It was like real life.
Yeah, that's most people, that would be enough adventure for one lifetime. So you're doing well. You're doing very well. So one of the highlights of the trip for me was arriving back at your home actually in Bali, and you brought out this Spanish delicacy. I think it's called yum. Is that right?
Yeah.
Tell me about that. I've never had it before, and it was one of the most delicious things I've ever eaten in my life.
Amazing. It's the best food in the world. This is the Iberian pork cured with salt for a couple of years. It's so delicious. I still have more in the fridge waiting for you.
So what's it called? What's the name of it? I'm going to buy some.
Jamon. It's like Jamon.
Yeah. I had a look on the internet. We can buy it here.
Yeah.
They deliver it.
I will send you by DHL. No problem. Give me your address.
That's delicious. So after traveling with myself for close to 2 weeks, what's I don't know if you've met many Australians before, or what's your thought on Aussies What's your impressions, and how do we perhaps differ from the Spanish and French?
I really think you have a privileged location talking about traveling to Indonesia because you are just a few hours away. The rest of the people on the trip, you see Arturo coming from Mexico, is 2 days traveling. People coming from Europe is 1 day traveling, but you can be here just in a few hours. And it's totally opposite. Australia is the first world, and Indonesia is still an emerging country. And the contrast is huge. You feel really like a different planet, just a few hours away. I had the same feeling, for example, in Spain, we are 14 kilometers away from Africa. That's nothing. You can even swim. And these 14 kilometers is like 25,000, because after you are in Africa, it's really like a different planet. So I think for you, you are privileged because you can have a very nice lifestyle. First of all, in Australia, you have very good salaries, you have a lot of comfort. But sometimes we need a lack of comfort. We need to get out of the bubble, comfort zone, and have adventures like this. So I think it's a perfect trip for Australian, because you will have exactly what you don't have there, or opposite.
That's awesome.
And, I think Australian people love adventure. It's maybe the European or South American client, they are looking more for comfort, and they like adventure, but they don't want to get out of the comfort zone. In my point of view, Australians, they lack real adventure, even if they have to sleep in the middle of nowhere one night, or they don't have toilet one day. They really like to embrace this feeling of adventure. Am I right?
I think generally that's the case. Yeah. Well, I was wondering. I think people listening to this will be asking, did I represent my country well?
Totally.
What do you think of Aussies?
Everyone, all the other tour operators, they were giving their advice, what I really appreciate, and we are making some changes. And you were the only one who said, no, that's perfect. Don't pay attention. Actually, after this trip with the tour operators, we split our rally, and we made 2 different legs. One is going to be called Deluxe, which is the trip that they are going to do. It's softer rides, less hours.
For the pussies.
It's more comfort. But we are going to keep the original challenge, which is going to be called Bali to Komodo Challenge Extreme, especially for Australian market, because you said this is what people want. Actually, yesterday I was here with the computer trying to do something even more special for you. I think we should call it masochist or super extreme version, or ridiculous. Also visiting Sumba Island, which is a possibility. So we can have one more island.
I was thinking exactly the same thing. I was building my website today, and I was doing the mapping for the Indonesian tour, and I thought that was a good idea because it's quite close to Flores.
If you know people who is willing to suffer, and bring them. We will give them a lot of it.
Sounds good, Pablo. So how long have you been riding motorbikes for?
Actually, I have been riding motorcycle my whole life. I broke my knee with my first motorcycle with 13 years old. And where I live in Spain, we have the perfect weather for motorcycle. It's never raining. It's always sunny. We virtually don't have winter. The weather is always 20 to 30 degrees. And I hate to be stuck on traffic. So motorcycle give me a lot of freedom, a lot of speed. And, my car, I did it during the last 10 years. Maybe I did it 1,000 kilometers per year to my car. So almost nothing. Just some family trip or some appointment with the family or raining day. But 90% of the kilometers, I did it by motorcycle. And as I told you, I was just 14 kilometers away from Africa. So it was like my theme park, amusement park for adults. And I enjoyed riding in Morocco, Sahara Desert, Mauritania, Senegal, Gambia, Algeria. this is really also a nice adventure. Totally different from Indonesia. Here is green, jungle, snakes. There is just sand, sand, and sand, but also lovely experience.
Yeah. What's your what bike did you learn on? Tell us, how you got into bikes.
Can you repeat the question, please?
What motorcycle? What was your first motorcycle? Like, how did you get into motorcycles?
Okay,
Like, did your father teach you, or
Yeah.
your friends, or how did?
Actually, I know. My first motorcycle for adventure was Yamaha XT 660, a very tough bike, very tough. And this is the first bike that I used to travel into Africa. But one of my trips was just one way. I went to Gambia, and I have to come back by plane. So I gave the bike for charity. I made an auction there, and I give the money to charity and come back to Spain and then bought a better one. I had Africa Twin also, lovely but too heavy, really too heavy. It was like 300 kg bike. You could not take it from the floor. And I also have the last one I had was a scooter, but very nice, a Honda X80V 750 with the new system to control the speed, the gear with the hand, not with the leg. Very interesting. I love all bikes. And now in Bali, I am riding a scooter because it's the easiest. Matic to move around. There's a lot of traffic, so I prefer Matic rather than a manual gearbox.
The Hondas we used on the tour, they're a CRF 150, I think.
It's actually CBX.
CBX.
CBX, yeah.
CBX 150. Yeah, they're a great bike actually. It was a good choice. I thought they're very versatile and super light. Good fun to ride, and they seem really tough as well.
Yeah. That's the perfect bike for Indonesia. I know people coming from the first world, they are looking for big bikes and they want the huge engine, 1.2, 1.3. But this here is a headache. Actually, these bikes are not available in Indonesia. But even if they were available, it would be a headache. This is an island hopping tour. We are moving from island to island. We are taking ferries. We are driving in the lava of the volcano. We are riding this sand of the beach. The lighter, the better. And we have been testing it in Indonesia, and it was my choice because it's 120 kg. Autonomy is amazing. We can make 300 kilometers. You can have your side panniers, top case. For sure, it's not running more than 120, but it's impossible to be 120 in Indonesia, especially in these islands. Maybe in Java, near Jakarta, you have some highway, but here you will never pass 60 or 70 kilometers per hour.
I had my bike up to 130 several times, so they can definitely.
You are pro, yes.
I think just down the hill, with the wind behind you, you could get it up to 130 maximum, but they don't like it. But yeah. So tell us more about the ride. So we start in Bali. The first day is a small lap around Bali, and maybe if you just give us a couple of minute run through of the ride we did and what it's going to look like in future.
Sure. This is a one-way trip, always heading east. In Indonesia, the more you go east, the more wild it is. Let's say, consider Jakarta, center of Indonesia, the capital, and you arrive to Bali. Bali is everyone knows Bali. Nothing to say about it. Hotels, nice beach clubs. So we start from here, and the first couple of days we can enjoy Bali Island, which is an international brand. And then we are going to Lombok, which is a totally different island. It's Muslim, not Hindu anymore. It's more wild. You have like 10% of the services of Bali, but it's amazing. Then we go to Sumbawa with this complicated island, very long, no services at all. yesterday I was checking in booking. Sumbawa, the whole island, 48 hotels available in the whole island. It's virtually nothing. And, there is a dry low. It's very hard to find even a beer. But the riding is unbelievable. You remember this day that we crossed the whole island from south to north?
Yep.
We had an amazing road just for us. We didn't see any other car or motorcycle during the whole day. We really had this feeling that we are the first person riding this road. And this is a very nice feeling, especially for someone who live in the first world.
It was beautiful.
We forgot about this feeling.
Yeah, that was an amazing day. I think I had that experience. I felt maybe 2 or 3 times on the rides.
Yeah.
It's amazing like that. There's no one around.
Exactly. And then we arrived to Sale Bay, North Sumbawa, but this is one of the best places in the world to swim with the whale shark. This trip is not just about the bike; it's about many other experiences like this. You remember we were privileged to be swimming with a few 12, 13, 14 meters length whale sharks. We were having dinner with the fisherman, enjoying a huge lobster, crab, nice fish, calamari. It's a privilege to have all this kind of food fresh directly from the sea. Then we continue to Bima, it's in Ansape, in East Sumbawa, and we take the boat to Flores, which is a Christian island. You remember, we could feel totally different vibe. Again, people is more open, more willing to have fun. Komodo National Park, we took speedboat. We were moving around it, 2,000 islands. You have a turquoise clear waters. It's like Maldives or Seychelles, Polynesia, but no people. What makes a huge difference? We have private beaches for us. We were walking with the Komodo dragon, snorkeling with the manta, swimming with turtles. It's like a Robinson Crusoe experience. I think you like it a lot.
This is true.
And then Flores. Flores, we ride almost till Timor, and totally wild. You have big distances between places. We went to 17 Island National Park, which is kind of Komodo, with also private islands, desertics. We enjoy a lot of volcano. We have around us, we have like 400 volcanoes, and more than 200 still active. So make it very interesting. You remember we were in the middle of the jungle, enjoying the river with warm water, like 40 degrees, having our drinks, enjoying with the local people in the river. I think this is once in a lifetime experience.
Yeah, it was incredible. Tell us about the hotel we stayed at on Flores. Joseph is the owner, I think. The Indonesian Mexican.
He's the Mexican Indonesian, right?
Such a funny story.
He's a very nice guy and unique guy. He's Indonesian, but he was studying to be part of the crew of a cruise with Royal Caribbean, but he went to Florida, to Miami, and he decided that he better jump out of the boat. He was living like 10 years there with Mexican people, and he really embraced the culture, the tradition. And when he came back to Indonesia, he decided to open a Mexican hotel in the middle of the jungle in Flores.
Unreal.
And this is full of mariachi, tequila. It's a unique spot.
Yeah, that was a the accommodation there. The rooms are beautiful too. Like it's the views of the volcano, and
the room is amazing. The views. You had the highest volcano in Flores. It's called Inerie. It was like 100 meters from us, like a huge wall, and you could enjoy like more than 50 hot springs in 5 kilometers. It's a very active volcano.
Yeah. That's
why we enjoy this warm river in the middle of nowhere.
And of course, we visited the Komodo dragon. I've still got my my Komodo dragon tooth
Yeah.
My wife likes it. She thinks it's very sexy around my neck. So I wear it all the time.
Yeah. It's a triple contrast and experiences. It's not just about the bike. As I said, we are starting in a Hindu island, then we go to two fundamentalist Muslim islands, then we go to Christian. It's really a cocktail of religions and feelings, different foods. We enjoy the volcano, we enjoy beaches, we enjoy the rice fields, snorkeling. Really, my goal is that when people come back from this 10 or 12 days trip, they really feel they have been like 3 months on holidays. I want to compress so many amount of experiences in such a short period of time. And I think we did it. I think the result is good.
Yeah, I think we have the same philosophy. Like I'd try to do the same with all my tours. All our tours is that, you could go and do this, but it might take you 2, 3, 4 months. Whereas we organise it, so we put it all into 2 weeks. So it's for people who haven't got time. They can't just take 3 or 4 months off and go travelling and find all this themselves, They can take their 2 weeks or 3 weeks off and off they go. They don't have to think about anything, just rock up, get on the bike. I mean, I literally knew nothing about this ride because I came on later. I hadn't read the itinerary or anything, so I didn't know we were going to swim with whale sharks and go and see Komodo dragons and all this sort of stuff. I just rocked up thinking we're going to ride across Lombok and Bower Flores, and I had no other sort of idea of what we'll be doing, and we did so much other stuff, like the 17 Islands National Park and Komodo National Park, the whale sharks. Oh, it goes on, the hot springs on Flores was cool on the second last day. So yeah, it was you've done very well. So yeah, I mean along the way I found you were good. You offered some good advice, and I think your grandfather sounds like an interesting character. And I remember you said something like, my grandfather said to me, if you can ride it or drive it, better to rent than to buy. And I thought that was some of the best advice I've ever heard in my life. So,
wisdom. Yeah.
Very wise man. And I gave you some back, and I said I think the secret to a happy marriage is dating your wife. So have you taken your wife on a date yet?
Actually, unfortunately, my wife
she's left you.
Holiday.
She's left you.
To join her tomorrow, yeah. So I couldn't see her yet after our trip. So I really want to date her as soon as I arrive to Spain. After 1 month here alone in Bali. But
what's your wife's name? What's your wife's name? Noelia. If you're listening, you've got a very nice date night coming up ahead, and you can thank me for that. We had a lot of fun, Pablo.
We will send you a picture. Cheers with wine for you.
Yeah, and it's I'm sure it's a good way to stay married. So thanks for your time, Pablo. Thanks for everything. Thanks for having us on the bike tour. It was one of the best experiences of my entire life. I loved the ride. I loved Indonesia. I loved hanging out with all you guys. I feel we have a special connection. And I know we'll be doing some good work into the future. So, and I'm really excited about that. So we'll wind it up there. For everyone listening, if you're interested in jumping on our first Indonesian Bali to Komodo experience, I've scheduled some dates already. I haven't spoken to Pablo yet, so I shouldn't announce them, but we're looking at doing our first big one in October. So hopefully that works, but that might change. But at this stage, and it's looking to be it'll probably be close to 2 weeks, but I think to fit everything in. and it'll be around about the same price as Vietnam and Sri Lanka sort of thing. So, it works out good because the flights are cheap. It's only a 6-hour flight from Melbourne, and you can always, Pablo's got some great options if you want to stay on longer, where you can organise a boat cruise to see the orangutans in Borneo. Where's that, Borneo? Anyway, so we can.
Borneo.
But this bloke is super well connected in Indonesia and really keen to get us guys over there. So get in touch. Email me at matt@nevermindadventuretours.com.au. Our website should be live this week, maybe next week, and we'll have a lot more information on there. So get amongst us, jump on board, support Nevermind, support Pablo and his team, and looking forward to seeing you guys on the next tour.
Never mind the noise. Chase the adventure.